Dead Workers Party, a Smite podcast.
Dead Workers Party on Smite, episode 204, recorded on May 8th, 2014.
I'm Brent Copeland.
I'm Eric Fullerton.
I am Afro Monkey.
And I'm Kevin Sayer.
Say your name again, Sayer.
Oh, I see you did that.
I see what you did.
I say what you did there.
Say your name, say your name. Say.
No.
No,
Kevin,
So
you need to
welcome
get on our
to
level.
episode 4 of season 2 of On Smite.
it's
We're
going to
happy
be
to have you all here.
a good one.
Yes, sir. It
It's gonna
will.
be a great one. We have a
It's gonna
lot
be
of
great-
awesome stuff this episode.
We got a ton of stuff. We got a patch that's gigantic. It's
Yes.
like miles long. We got a new god. We got Drybear.
Yeah.
We
we
talked to
do.
him this week.
Oh, we forgot to tell him
giant.
so he could tweet it out. Tweet her out.
We're
Oh.
jerks.
Tweet us
Well,
out.
we'll give him the
So
link
someone
to the
tweet out
YouTube
right
video.
now. Yeah. And someone tweet out right now. Hey, Drybear, they're about to play your interview on the channel.
That's
yeah, do
right,
it.
that's right.
'Cause you love us, and we love you.
Yes.
We do. We really do.
We're gonna get started here with some awesome stuff you're gonna love. You're gonna love it. Hey guys, what's
I expect like water and tentacles to flail out when that happens.
Or at least a
every time.
duck.
Yeah, at least a big rubber ducky.
Or boomstick.
Yeah, a little boomy sticky. All right, so this week I guess we'll keep this little segment short since we have so much stuff.
Hey,
but
hey guys.
what's been cracking?
Hey, can I go first?
Yeah,
go.
sure.
Go for it.
So listen. So this week I decided to start playing League, and I started yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely it's conquest, but it's there's higher stakes. People are tend to kind of get a little angrier. I had 2 games today with this one guy who was he was mean. He was not a nice person. But the real cool thing was the first League game I played yesterday. I was on the same team as Andinster, which was if you guys don't know who he is, Andinster is the jungler for Cognitive Gaming,
Nice.
and he was on my team.
Is that the only game you've won so far?
Actually, I've won 5 games, but that was my first.
Oh,
one.
wow. You've played 5?
He's in the
I played,
positive.
I played 9. I played 9 games actually. I won 5 and lost 4.
Wow.
Yeah,
And he was
But-
a great
crazy.
jungler. We spec that game. He was Hoombots.
Yeah, he was
Yep.
like 4 billion and 0 or something.
He was.
It's
He went
crazy.
18 and 1. So
18.
the
and
game was
one.
only 20 minutes long. He went 18 and 1.
It almost a kill a minute. Like, think about
Yeah.
that. A kill a minute. Like,
Yeah.
There's a
that's
reason
true.
he's
Crazy.
the number 1 or the like number 3 jungler in the world.
ah.
So I mean, I don't actually know where to rank the junglers, but there's a reason he's on the 3rd best team in the world.
Yeah. So have you moved up?
So-
Are you ranked up?
I am still in bronze 5, unfortunately. I only have 65 points, but because of my 4 losses. But I'm working on it. I really want to get to bronze 4.
Well, quit losing.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
It's good advice,
yeah.
I think.
But League is fun. It's awesome, and I like the stakes. But the real cool thing is I get to play with Andinster. So basically, I'm a pro gamer now because I played with him.
Nice.
That's how it works.
Wait,
Play with a pro
did-
gamer, you become one.
Did you
Yeah.
get paid? Because that's
Uh,
technically what pro.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get
paid.
paid. I went
And,
2-0 as Zhao Kwong in that
so-
game. I never died, so that's good, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
so-
All right, Brent, what'd you do?
So, I played some Smite. I actually got in a game with Kelly, and it's always kind of weird getting in a game with like Kelly or Bart or something like that. You're
Or
kinda
Andinster.
a little giddy.
Yeah.
But she was on the other team, and she was Odin, and it was Arena, and I was Cupid, and I just like I kind of sucked. Like Cupid, you should be getting kills. I only got 2 kills, but I didn't die any, and I got 20 assists.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's-
nice.
that's decent.
So decent, but they had a lever near the end, like so. But it was a pretty fun game. But one thing that I've kind of noticed this week in playing against some Emirs is that his circle doesn't. It seems like I get out of the circle and I still get registered damage.
Yeah.
And I think it's just maybe a latency issue, like where it's like on his screen, he pops it, and just because of latency or whatever, you're one step over and you're like, oh, I'm safe, but really you get damaged. And I think they need to maybe look at that and see if they can fix that, because I think it's more important on your screen to know when you're out of it than when you're in it. So I think they could even make it larger than it's supposed to be. And even on that edge, you wouldn't take damage, but because of latency, it would still kind of look like that.
Like I like on the person who's doing it, it should be the same size, but on the person who is trying to get out of it,
Yeah.
it should be a little bit bigger. So
Yeah.
that way everybody wins, because the one guy's like, oh, they got out of it, but
Yeah.
you're like, yay, I was still in it, but I didn't get damaged.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
see, you get mad when you still get damage and you're out of it, but if you're still in it, you don't take damage. You're just happy.
It's just a happy day.
Win-win.
Yeah.
That's my idea. Also, it was really cool. I was eating my lunch the other day, and one of my good friends at work, Chip, said, "Hey man, you got to check out the Smite stream. Bart's wearing y'all's shirt." So I went over there, and sure enough, he was wearing the Dead Worker shirt, and I said,
Yeah,
I said,
baby.
"Hey, thanks for wearing the shirt." And he was just leaving the stream. He was like, "Oh, hey, thanks for the shirt." And he like kind of stood up and like showed it off, and he was like, "Thanks for the shirt, and everybody needs to go listen to the podcast." So that was really awesome.
Nice.
Sweet.
And then, sadly enough, Drybear came on next, and I was saying hi to him, and he's like, "Where's my shirt?" Because we didn't give him one while we were down there. So we got to mail him a shirt. I think we're out right now.
I can just mail him one of my shirts. It won't have the Dead Workers Party
Wait, you
logo
have-
on it, but
Oh, wait.
God.
I just like
So
send
you
him
have
one.
multiple
What have
Dead Workers
yours?
Party
I'm not even
shirts?
going to wash it first. I'm just going to let him wear my stink
Still
for a
has
couple
your-
days.
How about this one? The one I'm wearing right now. I just
Still
sent
has
it to
Kevin's
Drybear.
nipple juice on it.
Oh, God.
Okay,
So-
anyway. So, Paul, how about you?
Yeah.
I hear you've been playing with Kelly, too.
Yeah, I played a match with
Ew.
Kelly today.
How'd that
And
go?
she was Raw, and I was Kali, and I didn't do well because I have not been playing Smite much.
Yeah.
And I think I was tied for the most kills on the team, but we lost.
Oh. That
And-
still sounds like you did well. If you
I mean, I
had
did
most skills.
I did okay, but it was one of those. It was an assault, and we just kept getting pushed. And because assault's not really a great game mode for melee characters, so it was just a bad time.
You say melee, I say melee.
Whatever.
Let's write the whole thing off. Isn't that how it goes?
Something like that.
It's mandatory. So what
I
about
think
you,
you nailed
Eric?
it. So, Siege, of course, came out this week, and I think Nuwa's kind of nice in that mode. Her ult kind of locks off everybody walking down, the tight corridors. What? Anyway,
This silliness going on.
I know what's happening.
You can continue, Mr. Fullerton.
so I'm trying different gods, trying to see what works in siege mode. We'll talk more about siege mode later. Still kind of focusing a lot on arena with Loki.
Yeah.
Got him to level 6 or 7, I forget now. He's going to be my third legendary for sure now. He's too much fun. I'm still not burnt out with him. I just want to keep playing him over and over again. And also, I got into watching some really cool Alienware Arena Cup videos. These are commentated videos of arena matches, which are really kind of fascinating.
And I actually watched a lot of the Alienware Arena Cup live, and it was just it was great seeing competitive play in a game mode that was outside of Conquest.
Yeah.
Just seeing that was awesome.
Yeah.
But those games, in a lot of ways, are sometimes more exciting than Conquest matches, simply because the action starts a lot earlier.
Yeah, there's more engagements, and of course, when engagement occurs, there's so much happening that I found myself, and I'm watching these on YouTube.com/SmitePro on that channel, and these matches happened a week ago, so I'm a little bit late with these, but I found myself rewinding every time, a huge engagement, because the commentators are yelling and they're trying to keep up, but there's so much happening, so I'm like, wait, what just happened? Let me rewind, because there's like 5 different people attacking different things, and there's just a lot of stuff. But what was really cool about all 3 matches, and I watched the Team Solo Mid versus Exposed, as well as Game Changers versus Cognitive, and at the very last second was just awesome. It was like, it's like 1 to 2 tickets. It's like 1 ticket off, and it's like, who's gonna win? And all of a sudden, an engagement happens, and then game over.
Yeah.
Well,
and you're like, who won?
Yeah, and it's like, wait, what just happened, right? So I rewind and I watch it, and of course I'm listening to their commentary wrap up. Like, okay, what really happened was, while Sun Wukong was in the animation of doing this, and Scylla was in the animation of doing her, monster, a minion got killed. You know what I mean? It was like people died after it. It's so insane. So like the final second, if you were to watch any of these matches, like the final second of any of these arenas is really awesome. So if you don't watch the whole thing, just watch that. Or
it's like a basketball game. Just the final couple minutes is all you need to watch.
Like from 10 tickets on, each team is always like one ticket off. Like everybody's so balanced. Like everybody's like either really scared to engage because they know that
two deaths and you're done.
Yeah, anything.
That's
could,
really cool.
Anything could change the tide of a winning match in arena. So it's very fragile. But I think that's kind of a new cool thing. Also, I just noticed today a new thing that I hadn't seen before is they have top plays and everything of all these tournaments going on. But on Smite Pro, they have top fails now, which is kind of cool. And a new video just came out 6 hours ago. From week one qualifiers. Anyway, so I'm really digging the Smite Pro channel. If you're not watching that, that is the battleground of the pros.
There you go. And speaking of, okay, go on.
I also want to say that it seems like a lot of the top tier teams are playing in a lot of the Octane Pro and Tier Monster. They do the 3v3 tournament.
Right.
Cognitive was in that tournament this past week, and they won it, and I mean it was brutal.
Yeah,
watching that.
Yeah, I see what these teams are getting paid or something, to play the game. That they're like, you're doing every tournament that you can do because we need to get the names out there and need to get win stuff. So
also just a plain old practice,
Yeah. Also, speaking of that stuff, tournament stuff. That's basically our news this week. Is the week one regional qualifier was this week, and the NA rankings goes like this: Team Dignitas came in first, Snipe second, Cog third, the Game Changers fourth, and Critosaurus fifth. That's in the NA. In Europe, it's Cloud9. Then Team Solomid, then Pipe.
I5, they're I5.
I like Pipe. 5 pipes. They're a bunch of hash heesh smoking Smite players. Worth
I5.
Gaming, and then Agilitas. And the MVPs for NA was Zatman from Dignitas, and EU it was Half Devil from C9. So
Cloud9, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and who was it that moved to Cloud9 recently that everybody got freaked out about?
Youngbei.
Youngbei, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Change it up, Keep it interesting.
Yeah. Also read an article this week. I don't know if y'all saw this, but it was about Smite, and it was called "Can a Third-Person MOBA Work?" And I really didn't like the article. It seemed like it was from someone who kind of already had a bent viewpoint. And didn't really even play Smite. And didn't even really play Smite enough to kind of get some things. There are some specific things, and I commented on it, but specifically he was saying that. Oh God, where did it go? Also, being stuck behind your player gives you less control and freedom than the other MOBAs, and I kind of disagree about that because I think there's more to it. There's more audio cues than other MOBAs that kind of free you up and let you know when some things are happening, and the wards and being able to see people through the map with the wards. Like you can't do that in a top down because you've got to actually scroll over to look at this area, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like in Smite, I can see all the way across the map that someone's in a ward area because of the outline.
Yeah,
right.
Like
you don't get that in top downs,
or
Absolutely not.
if I'm playing Neath and I want to snipe across the map,
Yeah.
if there's any teammate near them, or they're near a ward, or they're near something that gives me vision, I can do that. Whereas with other MOBAs, like you said, you have to scroll over to that side of the map to attack, even if there is a global attack that's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like theirs that's nice is basically a aim. Like you shoot it and it just goes straight across the map because they can't do that same mechanic.
But
they just can't.
you know, if I shoot it straight across the map, I don't know if I can only really aim at people who are in my immediate area, basically. And then if it hits someone else that's across the map, then it's kind of like, oh, yay.
Yeah.
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 So I don't know. I mean, you know, it's awfully like it's like apples and oranges. Really, it's like Xbox and PlayStation arguments, Mac and PC. Like, I guess there's not really an easy mode, like a, you know, third person is any easier or more challenging. It's just different, you know, right?
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things. Whatever game you're playing, you're going to defend more and find out.
Right.
You know, you're going to have why it's better than the other one.
And there's going to be people who always are going to say, or not like Smite or not like LoL in favor of Smite. So
yeah. So like if you're among the ranks of a gamer and you enjoy all games and you like a challenge, I would just suggest to play them all and, you know, see what works best for you. But that's cool that there's an article there and you know, that there is a contrast and people have opinions. But opinions are like asses and they make horses out of beef and stew.
What?
Isn't that the saying?
Beef and stew. You're weird.
I don't
man.
know what that saying
You're
is.
absolutely weird.
Anyway.
So we do have an interview coming up, and I think we're going to do that after this next segment, but it's with Drybear, so stick around for that. But I think that's about all the news we got this week.
yeah.
Cool.
I have a message for you. Gotta go fast. Whoosh. Yeah.
We got mail. Let's take a look at Mercury's mail sack.
Let's go.
Yay!
I love
What's
that
in that
friggin' bumper so much.
sack today?
Mercury's
Oh, God.
mail sack is just packed full of like stuff, mail, and other things that we don't even want to look at or mention.
You were going to say testes, weren't you? We were testing you.
We're testing.
And if you want to get into Mercury's mail sack, you can just email us your question or comment to smite@deadworkers.com.
Yes.
And it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this first one here comes from Bob the Titan. And he sent us a link to a Wikipedia article for Der Ring des Nibelungen. I think that's about right.
like
Did I
that.
say that
Fairly
about-
certain you butchered that. But
Well-
I'm not going to try it.
We'll link to it in the show notes, I think. We don't really do that, but whatever. And he goes on to say, this probably wouldn't make it to Broadway, but if it did, I would go and see it. It has a lot of Nordic themes and even one Nordic god as a main character. If I remember correctly, it also has Loki in it somewhere in a supportive role. The characters not directly related to Norse mythology are, however, readily interchangeable with ones that are. Thank you very much for reading this, and have a nice day. And indubitably, Bob the Titan. And he's going from our top 5 from last week.
Yeah.
When we talked about Broadway plays that the Smite gods would be in.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
So Der Ring des Nibelungen is his choice, right? Thanks,
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, I looked that over and it's
You
very
rock.
intense.
Whoever reads the next
Very
one, you're
intense.
welcome.
So from
This guy.
Fook Luong,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
I played in the beta test server for Smite, and the best god apparently for siege mode is Nuwa, because she has giant walls that can block enemy players and the siege engine from moving, keeping it in place. P.S. I hate bans, and I don't hate you. I love you, but I hate your opinion.
There's a bunch of love there. I can see that. So we're going to be talking a lot more about Siege in the Siege the Day segment later on. So
Yeah.
What do you think about, I guess, that one comment, though? What, like...
Which
I think I like that. Like it's kind of like how you can use Emir to block walls in Arena, or to use his wall to block the tower in Arena.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. You use
But nuance,
Things like that to block.
specifically.
it could make sense.
yeah.
Think pushing towers, getting the minions out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't know.
I would make defense like if you're basically trying to push the other lane, send Nuwa over by herself just to stop the tower, slow it down while you push that lane. take out a tower and then everybody fall back and support Nuwa to keep them from pushing your lane.
Yeah, it'd be
could
magical
definitely
if
see-
games happened like that.
Well,
Plus, if Nuwa,
we'll discuss it more in detail what I mean by that. But
if Nuwa properly were to place her tower as well, and then stand in front of the tower so it could stop, she could get it in the lightning bolt, so it would be constantly being zapped by the lightning between the 4 pillars, and that could really deal serious damage to the tower then, because it's a constant hit.
See, that's true. Okay, so dealing damage to the siege tower or blocking it altogether, putting it on one of the 4 posts, which I didn't even think about doing actually when I was defending. And I always go on the left lane, which is the defense lane, as Nuwa, and I was throwing it down kind of in the jungle. I would throw it down in different situations, but never to actually stop the siege tower from moving. But I guess that's a thing.
I don't know. To me, it's like by the time you get mid-game, the towers aren't really that potent if you're attacking them.
Yeah.
That's true.
You can take them down so fast to me that...
Yeah, especially hunters.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll talk about it later. I think there's some changes that need to happen to Siege mode.
But Nuwa is definitely cool, I think, for Siege mode. Better than Arena, I think, because the Clay Soldiers is great for tanking those siege towers that are coming at you after all your minions are dead. And there's just so many utilities that Nuwa has that are pretty great for Siege mode. So, But anyway, thank you, Fook Luong.
This next one here is from...
Slavic.
Wow, our names tonight are...
Are weird.
Sladik wants to know, what's the DWP Smite clan like and how can I join? From
Sladik.
From Sladik.
If you want to join, we don't have a permanent link up yet. I would like to... Hopefully we're going to have a link on the website soon in the days to come. But until then, you can... This is going to sound so lame. You can go to tinyurl.com/LSL97CX, and you can fill out a short form that just gives us basic information about you and what you'd like to play and time availability. And we'll look at it, and if you fit and you can be there...
Wait.
Wait,
You didn't
you're-
make a custom URL with Tiny URL? You know you could type out a word.
Yeah.
You
didn't-
can?
Yeah!
Wow, I'm a noob.
Well,
But
take it one further. Take it
wait
one
a
further.
second.
I don't think Sladik is talking about the we have a clan and then we
Yeah.
have
Oh,
a smaller group that's actually trying to
I'm not a smart
play
man.
competitively. To join the DWTP Smite clan, just find us in game and we'll pretty much add all listeners to it unless you're a douche, and as soon as they find out you're a douche, we kick you out.
Yeah, and we do that quite rapidly.
Yeah, and it's rule 9, rule 10, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that rule is. Don't be a dick and you'll be happy and the clan will be happy with you.
Yeah.
But actually, this form is actually pretty great, Nivi, Kevy.
Well, now you can go to tinyurl.com/DWP party.
There you go.
And that'll work. And
Now
that one's
you
a lot
wasted
better.
that link. We can never use that tiny URL for
Thanks.
when we do the party later.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
God,
Thanks.
thanks a lot, man.
But yeah, that's actually a nice form. You fill it out. Good questions there. Yeah.
And
That's good.
Well,
That's good.
this is relevant. I wanted to mention this last week. If you do want to join our competitive team, do that then. I wanted to say that last week.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Glad
But
you
Sladik
mentioned that.
is in the chat room, and he was talking about the clan.
Well, I'm sorry, Sladik. I don't know anything.
Okay, so yeah, just add us in game. Eric Fullerton. We're all our real names, right? Eric Fullerton,
Well,
Brent Copeland.
And
I mean,
Afro Monkey.
Afro Monkey
It's a
is
weird
the
real
Garrus.
name, but
Afro Monkey is not my God given. Paul Lockhart is my God given, but
Yeah.
I go by
Mimic
Afro
Arrows is
Monkey.
almost my real name. It's just backwards.
Yeah,
So,
you have to figure out how
Yeah.
to spell it.
Yeah.
we don't want to hide.
Yeah, give us a holler in game, and we'll hook you up.
exactly. That is the real information that you needed. Not my terrible tiny URL link.
That's right. Arr, let's move it.
Showbacks Parlay Parlor.
Nice. And what do we have today?
Today we're gonna talk with Drybear. This is a 2-part interview. We're gonna play the first part tonight and the next part next week. So here you go. It's about 10 minutes long, and enjoy.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Today we are here with Drybear. How you doing, Drybear?
I'm doing terrific. How you guys doing?
Great.
Excellent.
So I guess let's just jump right into it. How were you introduced to Smite when you in the first place?
Oh man. So I played Heroes of New Earth for about 3 years or so, and I played Dota 2 for about 6 months during the first international, and then League of Legends for around a year. And then what happened is one day I was kind of browsing, I believe it was MOBA Fire. It was one of those guide sites for League of Legends, and I saw the ad, and I heard a friend talk about it, and so I ended up playing it. At the time, they had a deal where if you paid for the 800 gem pack, you get access to the beta or to the closed beta, and you could play. It seemed like fun. I was bored. I needed something to do, and so I bought the gems. I got into the game and immediately bought more gems and fell in love, and that was kind of the start of all of it.
Around what time of the year was that?
Well, they were in alpha up until I believe May 31st, 2012, and I picked it up around like June 8th or 9th. 2012, okay. So literally right when they went into closed beta.
So back then, like when everything was new and new to high res too. I mean, they were just starting their MOBA.
Sure.
How broken were the gods back then?
Well, the one that is always referenced is Release Guan Yu. That's the one that kind of gives shivers down everyone's spines. I don't know. It was strange, right? Because Hi-Res Studios, we as a whole, I mean, started with, kind of like an MMO style, then into an FPS. It was more of like the open space type FPS with tribes, then going right into a MOBA, where MOBA is heavily filtered, heavily moderated, heavily balanced. I mean, balancing MOBAs is one of the more challenging aspects of gameplay design because there's just so many interactive aspects of it, and there's less room for, let's say, an FPS where, if you have the aim, you can beat anyone who has something that's more powerful than yours, whereas in a MOBA, if someone's 8 levels higher than you, it's less likely you're going to be able to do anything regardless of how good you actually are, and so the balance is very highly important there. So in the beginning, the gods were unique in a lot of aspects, and some were poorly balanced. But I think the issue with the early stages of Smite was mainly just the fact that the archetypes weren't there. Across the board, all kind of classes like Mage, Bruiser, Guardian, Hunter, all had the same kind of stats. And so, late game, a Mage would be 300 HP less than a Guardian, which didn't seem to fit the role. And I think that really the whole idea that the roles weren't clearly defined was the biggest issue in balance in the beginning, and not so much the characters themselves, excluding, certain situations. I think, Guan Yu, obviously the biggest one where that was just a total nightmare and a total failure. Guan Yu was remade like 3 times. But in general, I think it was really just getting into the MOBA mode than it was the characters themselves.
And did you
awesome.
Did you fall in love with your first god back then? And do you still like that god? If you did.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Zeus, and the reason I'm kind of one of those quirky gamers where I like to play the character that doesn't do very well. I don't know. I feel like if I'm playing a character that is too strong or currently the colloquial overpowered, I don't feel comfortable, and I feel like it's not a good measure of how I play as a player. And so at the time, Zeus was a very cryptic character that no one knew how to play, and so I loved him for that. And everyone would say Zeus is the worst character in the game, and I was like, you're wrong. And that's actually what led me to start my YouTube channel. Is I made a guide. My very first video ever was a guide for Zeus, and I just learned how to make videos and kind of just spat it out, and it was the worst video ever. But it's definitely kind of like humble beginnings there, and it set me along the path.
Nice.
So what then led you into streaming after, like, making the first YouTube video? I guess it was kind of a natural progression.
Kind of, yeah. It was more of a catalyst, being the fans. I started making guides, and then I saw people doing Let's Plays, and I got a decent amount. I was got like my first guide got like 89 views. Yeah, this is awesome. It was like 6 people liked it, and then I started making more guides, and eventually I started doing just full length gameplays. And it's been such a long road, individually, because I did pretty much all of it on my own up in the first year. And so I started doing gameplays, and being an innovator, I wanted to try to do things that would engage the audience and trying to get them to come back and watch my videos more and more. And what I started doing is I would, when I was dead during the game, instead of cutting that out, I would actually cast my teammates like a shoutcaster. I was just like a sportscaster or whatever, just as a joke, just to fill that dead time where I was actually dead in the game and I wasn't doing anything. And after a while, the fans actually started to like it. Said I was, they liked that I was pretty decent at it, and so they were pushing me to start streaming and start casting. Where I actually I started streaming, and then about 6 days later, I started casting right after for some casual tournaments there. So the streaming came about 7 or 8 months after YouTube. I was doing that for a long time, and then I finally started streaming because they were pushing me to do it.
Yeah, it could have gone worse if you just decided to die more, so you could cast all your.
Yeah, I know. Just cast all the time. We're just awful at this game.
Peter, but he's so good at casting.
Yeah, see, it's a plus.
Yeah.
So I guess then would it be fair to say that your casting community involvement is what Hi-Rez was interested in when they kind of came to you, or is there something else really? Do you think?
It was a combination of so many things, and it kind of leads into what I do at Hi-Rez as it stands right now, which is just such a widespread thing. It's a little strange. But I was in school for computer engineering. Recently graduated. Actually, I graduated the day before I left for the launch event, and so a lot of programming and web development and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I was also doing kind of building up with the YouTube and then the streaming and the casting, and so it kind of all coalesced into something different and kind of grew into this widespread thing where I would cast on the weekends all serious, then it'd be silly during the days, and then I would play playing the game, making guides, and so I think the interest was more here and there where they wanted this, they wanted that, they wanted all kinds of things, and ended up being brought on to build the forums that are active now. But it was like we kind of wanted them to cast, and casting was the second thing. The first thing, actually they were tied together. I was brought on to stream during the week and then cast on the weekends, and so that is really the combination of what brought it together.
So with all that casting, with the 200K, how do you see Smite Esports like growing and changing? With the new tournament series and everything, there's tons of stuff going on. Like, what do you see and what are you excited about?
I'm excited about the future. I mean, we have so much planned for the world, and they're not going to be ready for it. But it's funny because talking to some of the developers who have been there since the beginning, Smite was a pet project. While Tribes Ascend was the foreground, and they're just thinking, it's fun to play. We play it when we're on break or whatever. But this game has no potential. We're not really gonna, put any money into this or whatever. And then it just started growing in little by little, and there's so many novel ideas in the game where you have this third-person aspect, and there's gods and goddesses where there's lore pretty built into every character, and there's history that you can kind of look into yourself. And I think that it's such a well-built and genius idea that everything kind of moved itself along. As far as esports go, amazing stuff. It was announced recently that we actually got WE World Elite, the Chinese team, to join up for Smite. So we have an official World Elite team. We have SK Gaming, Dignitas, all the big names coming in. And with the launch event, I think a lot of people saw potential. And we kind of piqued a lot of eyes and ears and pointed them in our direction with how we handled that event and how we ended up putting on a show. And I think that realistically we didn't think it would get here, and I don't think we'll be ready for where it's going to go, but it's certainly exploding and has a really big future if we just keep on the grindstone and pushing it forward. And I think a lot of people agree with how they play. I mean, people love the game. They play it all the time. They're playing it all throughout the days. And I remember when I first joined the Smite game stream rotation, it was peak was around 100 viewers. It was like 40 to 50 usually, and if you got up to 100 and you cross that threshold, you'd be like, yeah, I'm doing really well. And then today we did patch notes and we got 11.5 thousand people watching the patch notes, and then average of watching people stream is like 2 to 3K, and it's mind-blowing how far it's come, and that just kind of like shows where it's going to go.
So what about what are you super excited about with this patch that's coming up right now? Is there anything in particular?
The league system, probably. It's very innovative and very interesting the way it works. And I think the old league system was just a pile of poop. It just needed to go. It just kind of shuffled out the door, and the new one comes in, and it's a lot cleaner. And there's rewards now. Siege mode is also a good thing to look at. It's a lot of fun playtesting it and kind of running through it. A little bit shorter, but definitely kind of puts more aspects. And I think we're one of the few games that puts a lot of effort into making new game modes while we're making the game. And so we have this long list of game modes and match of the days, while the central focus is obviously conquest. There are people that only play arena, or only play they'll probably only play siege, or they'll come in and play the specific game modes. Assault's a big one as well. There are people that only play assault. And so when you think about Smite as a whole, we built it as a MOBA to be around conquest, but then coming out with these fun side games has been growing. And so I think siege is also a really big turning point for the patch that's coming up.
Do you have any ideas for maybe a siege meta that we're going to be seeing evolving?
Oh man, it's hard
question,
because the playtests are so spread out. I mean, you could have me and 9 developers that that come in and they don't know the game too well because they spend too much time making it. And then one day we have more people from the publishing side that play the game a lot, or we have the streamers, or whatever the case may be. It's a very wide and varied group of playtesters, and so it kind of moves around. But it definitely shortens the god selection a bit, because you can't really play characters like Ares or something like that. You need to have heavy push. You need to have high intensity and high mobility, because you need to be moving around the map. You need to be pushing the towers. You need to be protecting the siege minion, and kind of getting into the mid. So the characters that are more about the team fight don't really fit as well. So I think it's going to be the fast characters, the assassins, the heavy pushers. Hunters have a big role, because of course the physical damage is great for taking down siege towers and towers themselves. But I think the meta will be very similar to Conquest. I think there are just certain characters that won't fit at all, and they'll be excluded. And of course, the way you move around the map is going to be inherent to the game mode, where you start at a student buff camp, or you're always coming back for the Silver Fury or the Siege monster once it finally comes out. But I think it's going to be very similar to Conquest.
Awesome. So that was our interview with Drybear.
Yes.
He goes on to talk about a lot more stuff that we'll get into next week. We've got about another 10 minutes of interview that we'll play next week.
Yeah, that was great talking to him.
So
Great guy.
Yeah.
Good insight.
And really funny. I'm actually... I think we were going to talk about it later. Well, actually, we'll talk about it later. We're going to talk about if we get to the Agnes hot topic later. But I was watching the stream this week, like I said, with Bart and then Drybear, and he is so intelligent about the game and humorous too. So it's like a double whammy. But I learned something this week, and maybe we make a segment at some point about it. It'd be like just the tip, and then like Neath giggles. Huh? You like that?
Okay.
Okay. But the tip that I learned from him was, okay, so like when you're leveling up your abilities, like you can't learn the same ability a second time. You got to like go to a different ability.
Yeah.
But you can save your abilities.
Hello?
So
Yeah.
if
For auto build kind of thing.
No. So okay, so say you're building, say Alquang, and you only want to do like your 3 and your 4 and your 1. You don't really care about your 2 that much. Well, when there's a point where you either have to pick your 1 or 2. But say you really want your cloud or your ult, you don't buy your ability. You wait until you level up again, right? And then when you level up again, it'll let you buy your ult, and you can buy your cloud.
Ah,
So
that's
you-
interesting.
Yeah, so you just save your abilities for a couple levels. And I think level 9's one of them where it happens again. So there's a few different areas where that works. So it's a really cool tip, and I tried it out in a match, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
That's kind of cool. Okay.
Is Kevin still connected?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Kevin's coming back at some point. All right. Well, that's an awesome tip. Well, cool. And so that interview with Drybear was right before Siege came out publicly as a beta. So that was the preview to that. And so next week, the other part of the interview. And I guess we'll keep this show moving on.
Patch of the Pantheons.
Woohoo!
Ooh, we got a big patch this week, don't we, Aphrodite?
It's a really, really big patch, Eric.
Thanks,
Is that what
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite would sound like?
No,
Identical.
not at all.
You don't think so?
So yeah, we got some amazing things here. Wow. Where do
new
we even
god?
start? We start with the new god. There we go. What's his name, Paul?
Osiris.
Osiris.
And he is the warrior in the Egyptian pantheon that we have been wanting.
First premium skin, Miley Osiris. There we go. There we go.
And would there be a wrecking ball involved
Yes.
with this?
Yes,
at
sir,
all?
there is going to be. Instead of that weird whip he's got, wrecking ball. Big
God,
one.
I
Big
hate
one.
both of you.
So this guy, he's a warrior. He acts more like an assassin, kind of like a new school Nemesis. Remember how Nemesis used to be a warrior and now she's an assassin?
Well, she's still technically a warrior, but people build her like an assassin.
Well, that's what I mean by that. I think Osiris is kind of following in that footstep. He's kind of...
I agree.
People put rage on him, and they put, all this stuff that you do to an assassin. I don't know.
Oh no, he's a jungler supreme.
Yeah.
Like I was watching his reveal video, and I'm like, this is a jungler.
Mm-hmm.
You guys say he's a warrior, but he's literally a jungler. His gank potential is tremendous. With his 1, which causes a slow, his 2, which does extra damage to the person that's slowed, his 3 that makes them do less damage to him, and then they're stunned, and then his 4, which is just a jump that does serious damage.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 4 gank abilities, and none of them are good for lane clear, which is why it's ridiculous that he's, cataloged as a warrior, because a warrior is someone that is either in solo or maybe support, maybe, and they need some kind of lane clear, which he has none of. So,
Right.
Also his basic attack progression does an AOE, and you know what AOEs are good for? Killing jungle camps.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what... I mean, I would have been fine with them making him an assassin, but it's silly that he's called a warrior. That's what I think, anyway. Or if you're going to make a warrior, make him have warrior abilities and not jungler abilities.
Right. Yeah. Maybe more single target kind of things, but I don't know. I mean, you have Tyr, he's a warrior. He has his fearless is not a single target thing. I don't know. His cleave also. but-
Well, we're gonna talk about Osiris. In,
Yeah.
the Osiris segment. So let's move on. We're also on the patch. We have the Siege mode, which we're gonna talk about in a full segment because there's a lot of data to talk about and all those.
Okay.
We also got a new league system this week, which Nivik has been playing. None of the rest of us have, and you've been enjoying it so far, Kevin.
Yeah, I have. It's... one thing that I would say to everyone about the new league system right now is I would encourage you, if you're going to play league at any point, and you can right now, if you're interested in playing league, basically, play now. Like I mean, literally, like tomorrow, as soon as possible, because
you may get in a game with Zatman who will carry you into a win.
Well, you're not going to get in a game with Zatman because he's already in, I think, silver 5, or maybe he's in bronze 1.
Yeah.
But the real thing is, like, yeah, you might get in a game with a pro, and that's really cool. But really, there are so many people in the low-tier pool right now that you have a much better chance of being with all those people that are still good because they just started playing again. So they have to rank themselves up, and they'll be able to help you. And if you're good, you'll be able to help them. Whereas if you wait until 2 months from now, the people that are in Bronze 5 are going to be people that either suck or have never played League before. They're not going to be the people that are good. They're going to be up somewhere else.
You're going to be in what's called ELO hell.
Yeah.
Well, maybe MR. Is it MMR or MRR?
MMR. Matchmaking rating.
Hell. And basically what you get are the people who don't know how to play the game or the BMers, because it's shown statistically that BMers cause teams to win even if they're good players more so often than it is for other people. So they get stuck in what's called this hell because they're like, you suck and we're losing because you suck, and they drag their team down every time they play, and so they stay at that level for life. And we'll get more into BM later. That's another segment. How many segments do we have?
You're the one that made the show.
I know, it's crazy. So that's awesome. The new league system sounds like we need to get into. We also got new skins this week. The Blind Vengeance Nemesis.
She's a ninja.
AKA Ninja Nemesis, yeah.
Anybody buy it? Anybody got it yet?
No, not yet.
I will. I would get it.
I don't
would.
play Nemesis, so
Yeah.
it's
I
gotten to
do,
the
but
point
I'm
where
also not jungler anymore. So
Well, it's to the point where if I don't play that particular god, I'm less inclined. Even if it's a really cool skin, I'm less inclined to get that skin unless I actually play that god.
Exactly, me too. Once I'm down with her, I only have 250,000 gems right now, so I have to use them wisely.
So if you're down with
Thank
Nim,
you,
you'll
Gabe,
get the
for that.
skin.
yeah.
But you're not down with
We
Nim.
also got a golden Url.
It's a Murloc
Our
all of
good-
a sudden.
and our good
It's a
friend,
Murloc
Mr.
skin.
our good friend Mr. Deffy Jones is already a legendary Uller, so he's got that golden black.
He
Uller.
loves it. A couple days ago, he got legendary, and it's kind of funny to get legendary on such a new god, but he has done nothing but play Ul every single time, every single day, many matches.
I know who I ban when I
So-
play against him.
And he's already gotten a couple of like in-game comments like, "Oh wow, a legendary Ul? That's weird." But I mean, he's very good at him, and so I mean, hey, choose your god and get good at him, right? So, and now everybody's got a golden skin, right? Except for Osiris,
For Osiris.
Yeah.
And
Mily,
and Kubakarna.
Don't
Oh, yeah,
even
Kumi.
don't
Dude, what are you doing?
don't
You don't like the wrecking ball?
No.
Okay. One day we're gonna see that skin. I'm just
Okay, we
have
also
a
got
few
updated
updated
cards
cards.
for Bastet, the Golden Bastet, and the Dominatrix Bastet. So that's good.
Those
How
are
about,
good.
you get the next one, Nivy. There you go.
Oh, you also have the some general changes. We've got in Assault, which is a little controversial actually for some people. You can reroll your random god now for 250 favor or 25 gems. Which I don't know. Does that you guys think that throws things off, makes it not really random, or you think you're okay with it?
Not necessarily.
That's
They
weird.
do put it at a cost, so if you're low on favor or just don't have any gems, I mean, you're less likely to use it.
That's
it's-
weird.
It is weird.
I
I'll say
don't
that.
like it. I will say this. I thought I liked it at the beginning, but to me, it's a in-game game-changing effect. Like, it affects the game you're playing in because you got a god you suck with so much that you're willing to pay money to switch that god. And we can debate whether favor is money or whatever, but
Right.
now you're playing a god that you're better with. Sure, the other people on the other team have the chance, if they have the favor or the gems, which they probably have that little amount or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of a game changer. Like, what if the people on my team may suck at whatever they're playing but aren't willing to pay the money to do it because they just don't want to?
Well,
So-
and the only time I've ever considered using it is, and I really haven't been playing all that much since the patch came out, but just thinking in my head, the only time I really would probably want to use it is if I'm leveling gods and I get a god that I've already mastered and I want to get another god or the chance to get another god
Yeah.
that I haven't mastered
Oh,
yet.
just a level? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know who is using this option. Who
I'll use it all the
who
time.
is using this
I will use
feature?
it all the time.
Well,
I'm
no,
against it, but
I
I'll
want to
use it
know
all the
who's
time.
using it when I'm playing. I want to see a visual cue of who on the opposing team is using this. That way,
Like it shows their icon like shaking up or
exactly.
something. Like back
I
and
want to
forth.
see a
Well,
frame.
but
I
what
want to
does
see an
that tell
outline.
you? What does that tell
That
you?
tells me that they have shifted the game in their favor.
Well,
I want to see that they
Well,
have
maybe.
altered the
There's- there's-
game.
I
there's
only
a
think
possibility.
I think it
I
only
mean-
lets you do it one time, and if you still don't get someone that you're good with, well, you're sorry about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I want to know that the game has been altered. Someone thought it was so important that they actually spent currency. Favor, of course.
I think more importantly, the people who are on the same team as the person that switched should know. So when they suck at that second god that they got, you can rag
They
on
can blame
them
them
more.
Well, I assume you would know, right? Because you do it.
Well, yeah, you would
Everybody
see.
gets their god, and I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. I've been working to crap. Anyway, but I assume you see your god, and then you're like, oh no, I want to pay to change, and then like poof, you're someone new.
I want a neon sign that says, "Hey, this guy just changed his god.
Right.
Keep an eye on this guy because he's probably going to suck."
Yeah.
Well, and what else I want to know is what if you're a healer
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
and
so-
the other
so
team got
actually,
a
I can
healer and
answer
you
this question.
change?
It
Yeah.
will let you roll out of being a healer, but it will not let you roll into being a healer.
Oh.
Okay,
so if
so
you're the
you
healer
screw
and you
your
roll,
team.
you just screwed your team over if you
Yeah.
don't get a healer then.
See, again, that's not fair to the other four players.
Okay.
Like, that's my problem with this. It's not fair to the other 4 players. I'm going to use it all the time.
Well,
Like, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to use it because I'm going to use it if I get some god that I'm not working on, don't want to work on, and I just hate, or that I've worked on and already leveled to 1 and never want to play again.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think if you rolled a healer the first time, that second time you roll, I think they should limit like if you're the healer or a healer, I think the only other gods you should roll with is other healers.
Right.
So if I roll Aphrodite, then the next roll might get me Ra, it might get me Chang'e, but I can't get another roll outside of the healer roll.
Right.
If I rolled a healer the first time. I think that's only fair just to maintain that balance of healer for healer on each side. Because we saw an old Assault where one team having a healer and one team not having a healer drastically changes the
It
game.
really does. And it depends on the healer, too. I mean,
Yeah.
But why are you not okay with that person screwing them? I mean, yeah, they screw their team over, but they screw themselves over too.
because they screwed the team over.
Yeah. Because it's not the fault of the other 4 players that they decided to reroll.
Like, can I pay $250 to make him go back to a healer?
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe you should be
he's
able to.
affecting my game by making that choice out of being a healer.
Yeah.
Like, I almost see it like on either you stay a healer and don't get that choice, or it's like almost like a surrender vote. Like, the team has to agree. Okay, you can change.
Yeah.
Like, that's why why don't they make surrender where I can pay 250 gems and surrender at any time?
And that's why I said if you are a healer, then I say that you should not be able to roll outside of that class.
Right.
Simply
I can agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, part of me almost wants to say, I almost either wish they would go back to where it's like class for class.
Yeah.
Which would even make this even more sucky. Or just take that away and just go ahead and make it complete random, ARAM assault. But, that's another topic.
I've been in some during the brief times where they've had just completely random, and I've been in some assaults that were just ridiculous. Like, one team has all melee, and the other team is totally balanced, and it's just like,
steamrolls.
there is no chance we're gonna win. We're gonna try like hell, but we're not gonna win.
Yeah.
Well, and I wish they would change the map. I wish they would take one tower away. I wish I want
An assault?
assault to be much faster.
Oh. Okay.
So I want them to
So
make
basically
it
like
completely
Joust.
random. Almost like Joust. And maybe not take the tower away, but maybe take the Phoenix away. I want to do so much faster that you don't care if you get screwed.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a fun. You hop in and you
I
go
see.
at it.
Yeah.
Right? And you go back and forth, and it's done. And so if you get screwed, whatever. It was a 10-minute game.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And maybe put some siege minions in. Oh, they should also make it 2 lanes, I think, and have a
Okay, I'm
jungle
going to
in
hang up
between.
on Kevin until he quits drinking or whatever's happening.
So they also this week they updated the accolade art, and they're more like I don't know. They're different.
Yeah.
I like the new ones. I like them all. I like the old ones. I like the new ones.
Yeah.
They are definitely cool looking. Definitely kudos to the artist, but I really dug that they were tokens. They were little medallions. They looked so epic.
I like
before.
the medallion idea.
I did too. It felt like it meant something. It was just like bam. Now it just feels like an element, like an art thing, like a picture, like a disjointed.
Here's actually
what
my
they used during the
weird-
tournament, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's what my weird half and half. I really like what the accolades look like when you're in the game, but when you're out of the game, looking at like the screen, they look weird.
Yeah.
I think the in-game accolade should be these ones, and the out-of-game accolade should be the tokens.
Well, what if they had these acolytes with the kind of a token behind it or a circle?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. They could like
So it's-
remake them so they turn into tokens for when
So
you're
it's
out of the
just
game. So I
on,
think it looks
you know,
better.
Yeah.
So it's symmetrical or the same or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
But again,
Similar.
like high res, great artists over there.
Yeah, it's great art. I mean, no matter what we say about like the aesthetics of that,
it's definitely
still
cool.
great art.
It's always jarring seeing the UI and all these things change from time to time. And after the game is already launched, it's just kind of odd to see something that you're so used to and you love so much just suddenly change. I don't know.
True, but does everybody remember how upset we were with the item changes? And now
We don't care.
Can you even remember the item changes? Like,
I still
what were
like
the items back when?
The Witch Stone. And it was a green ball-looking lantern thing. I still like that to this day. I don't like the Witch Blade.
But like, I can't even remember half the other items. Like now, the new items, those are the items.
That's true.
And so it's like, it seems like
you learned to like it.
And what's that been, a month?
Yeah, only a month or so.
It's been like a month and a half.
But it's like anything. We'll get used to these, but it's still right now. It's very jarring change, and I preferred the medallions when, like, I loved going to the lobby and seeing my little medallions.
I did too.
Over there.
But I really think in game, especially the deicide one, with like the golden thing with the big horns, and it comes up on screen. Deicide, like, it looks way cooler than the token, I think.
Yeah, the pentakill with the upside down pentagram. It's like a devil's like. Rah.
Yeah, and it's got like the 5 heads on it. Like, that's so cool.
Oh well, but anyway. We change, we live, we learn, we
Speaking of changing and learning,
yes,
there was a huge relative change to conquest, and that is mid-fury camps spawn every 3 minutes now instead of every 2 minutes,
which is great.
Which really changes a lot. It might seem like a weird change, but the jungler has a lot more time to do other things now. The mid camps or the mid laner has more time to do other things now, but also it means they're more important. It means you risk more to get them because they aren't as often. So it is worse to miss one of these camps than it is to miss one of them previously. Or for most of the game. Once it gets to late game and everyone's 20, it don't matter anymore. But
I hate the mid camps.
Oh my gosh. Brett probably hates towers and phoenixes and minotaurs.
Are you a tower hater?
I do hate minotaurs. I love titans.
You're a titan lover?
No, I don't hate mid camps. I think I don't know. See, it's weird to me, and it's probably because I played a lot of LoL before I played Smite. Like, when you were mid, right? You didn't have to you would go over and get a buff and stuff, but it's like mid camp almost becomes like a job of the mid, right? Like those
which
camps.
it is a job of the mid, yeah. The jungler and the support.
I wish they would push them away from the mid and leave it just to junglers. Like, make the jungle, that's the jungler's job, is to jungle. I don't know.
Well, it is the jungler's job to get mid camps. It's not just mid. It's mid's.
I'm not saying it's just, but it's part of their job.
Right.
And so now they've got to do something else besides mid.
Well, I think it depends on the strategy of the team that's playing, how they.
Well, there's a right way and a wrong way. I mean,
there's a lot of people who play different, slightly variations of the meta that are still successful.
Well, against weaker teams, against bad teams, I can see that. Speaking of metas, though, I want to see more invasions. Like, I feel like we don't have invasions. And playing LoL, like, you would go like, hey, y'all want to invade? And it would be like, yeah. And so what you would do, instead of like placing out at your little camps, waiting for the mid camp and the blue camp,
you went into the
5 guys would go to the red camp on the other side where you knew their jungler would be starting, and you'd be sitting there in the bush, and he would be like, oh, I'm going to get my red. You'd jump out, kill him, take his red, and then scoot back to the other side.
And it's because I've been watching some lower level tournaments, and there is a lot more invasions and a lot more people taking chances because either they're not as well versed in the current meta, or they're just taking chances because no one ever expects you to do that because they expect you to stick to the meta. And in some cases they were very successful, in some cases they weren't. It just depends on the comp of your team and how proficient they are with the gods that they're playing.
And that's exciting too for commentators. Could you imagine what they could say?
What are these
during
guys
that?
doing?
Right? And could you imagine the audience watching? Like, that's exciting for everybody. And the team that is invading, the only person that is not going to find this amusing at all is that one guy that's getting his ass kicked, right? So that is great. I love that idea.
But I will point out that several people who played Smite from the very beginning and pro players have told us that a 5-man roaming team used to be one of the metas that went through, and gradually it was phased out because better techniques were found.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a new thing. It's just it's been tried, and then people found that it was easier to do it this way.
Well, it's safer. It's definitely safer.
It's
just
definitely
to stick with the
safer.
meta,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But now everybody's feeling safe. Let's make them feel unsafe.
Yeah,
People.
like
Yeah.
the best thing you can do if you
Let's
want to throw a wrench in the stuff is to change it, especially in a method that has been tried before and been successful. Just was put to the side because there was an easier way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it can be successful, then yeah, definitely try it at least once, just to throw the other team off. Especially if you're playing like in a tournament where it's like, best 2 out of 3. Throw one of them in there where you just totally break meta and do successful, and then the entire time in that third game, if it's tied up, they're like, so are they going to do a 5-man jungle? Or-
Yeah. They don't know what's going on, right? I love that.
That's cool.
So there are also some God balances this week. In particular, Uller had his movement speed reduced, and he had the projectile speed of his 1 when he's in axe mode reduced considerably.
Yeah.
So it's he's a little bit not as overpowered now, but he's still a top ban. He's been banned in every single league game that I played, so he's still a top ban.
That's crazy.
Another change that actually just came out today that's going to be in the patch tomorrow, Friday. Conquest Pre-Made is going to require 16 Mastered Gods to play now, just like League does.
Easy.
Yep. So, so Mr. Deffy Jones, you got some work to do. That's all I'm gonna say.
You didn't have 16 yet? Jeez, I thought that was.
And then
Well, he's playing
also,
Uller all the
just-
time.
oh well, yeah, you're right.
Level 10 Uller.
and then a small change for Pre-Made. They added the 6-ban mode that is in all the big stuff now, but it's also in Pre-Made. So they just screwed that over,
and that
which is
was
a natural
expected,
progression.
yeah.
But so yeah,
Nice.
what's our next segment, Mr. Fierton?
Well, I don't know.
I siege! What you did there?
What?
Yeah. Interesting. So I think this segment's all about the new siege mode that we all love. 2 lanes, lots of jungle in the middle.
Yeah.
There's a monster in the middle that's not really a monster yet. It's more like a
say
little
love.
girl.
I feel like I'm Mr. Negative
It's
tonight.
a shiny.
Well,
You don't
silver,
like Siege?
Lovely lady.
It needs some polish. It definitely needs some polish.
Brent hates everything about
Like-
Smite. I'm pretty sure.
Like, I don't hate Siege.
Yeah.
I like the concept of Siege. I love the map. I think the map's awesome.
The map is
Yeah.
beautiful, really.
My
Yeah.
problem with it is I feel like I was sold a bill of sales and it
the
didn't,
back and forth and back and
it
forth.
didn't
and back
come
and
to
forth and back and
fruition.
forth.
I was
Wait,
told this
wait.
was going to be a short contract.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Are you talking about it being
A 30-minute
short-
game.
in between Arena and Conquest?
20 to 30-minute game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the original was like, this is going to be...
A 15-minute
All mine
game.
have lasted longer than, like, most of the Conquest I ever play.
Really?
And I believe it's the problem because, like, once you get past that mid-stage, there's just such a back and forth. Like, it's like, you push the towers to there, and then you die, then they push the towers back, and you die.
Yeah.
And it... Okay, so probably part of it is us sucking and not knowing the proper meta.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, there isn't a meta. There isn't one. So.
Well, I know. Well, but there's going to be one.
Right.
And until we
Eventually.
learn that, I think we're going to have this horrendous, like, long back and forth. Because the problem is when you die, they're going to push the lanes and the towers, and it's basically the same thing, right? And so it's just
Yeah.
going to go back and forth until you don't die, basically.
Right.
And you're going to come back to life, and then you'll kill them because they're right on your Titan, and then you push the lane back just enough for them to all come back to life, and then they kill you. Like, Brett and I had a game yesterday that was literally this. Like, they would get to our Titan, we'd deicide them, and then our guys didn't know how to push lanes, apparently. So Brett and I would run up and be like, attack right lane, attack right lane. They'd all be dilly-dallying left lane, doing nothing. Yeah. We'd get up to their base, by like the two of us, and then they'd all be back. Well, thanks, guys. That was worthless.
Yeah. I mean, I swear I had a game where every time we'd be pushing a lane, and it was like me and Silver, I think Akami was playing. No, Alice wasn't playing. And I swear we'd be like pushing a lane, 4 of us. It'd be me, Silver, and these 2 guys. And then we'd get to the Phoenix, and we're about to like push the Phoenix down. They'd just like beeline for the other lane, and here Al Kwong and whoever I was playing,
kind
like
of pushers, yeah.
Like, we're
Al
not going to
Kwong
handle
and
4
Anubis.
people like coming after the Phoenix, and it's like, where are you going? Like every time, and so then we would have to leave, and then so it's just like, oh, that's So I don't know how to fix it, and I think, like I'm saying, I think the meta may fix it because I think there's some things that like people aren't doing.
Yeah.
Like part of me is like I want a strategy where I think, like when you get a tower out, a lot of times I see people go immediately back when the tower comes out to buy, so they can like run out in the tower,
Go to the portal and be on the tower.
But I think maybe what you need to do is continue to push the lane until your tower's like halfway or closer to you, and then be back, because you don't need that much time when you be back. You just be back, heal up, grab your stuff, and hop
and teleport.
So
The portal, yeah.
like half the time I see people sitting there and like waiting for the tower to go forward, or end up running out right after the tower because they went ahead and beat back. Wait, keep pushing the lane, because you need that push, and that's just going to get your siege tower further, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then be back, and like, so you're basically trying to time it where you get to the end point of your lane at the same time as the tower. So you got your maximum push there.
Yeah.
Or let your tower push the lane, and while they're going over there, split push, baby.
Yeah.
All 5 of you just crowd the other lane and push it all the way.
See, I played during the. I haven't played much this week, but during the public test server testing of it, all I saw was people spending way too much time in the jungle. All the buffs are gone, and they're just going back and forth between the lanes, but they're not really doing anything while they're in the lanes. They're just mostly spending their time in the jungle. Like that center minion that calls the siege minion, regardless of whether you had vision on it when it died, you're going to see when it comes back up. There's no need for you to be hanging around.
You also know when it went down, because all of a sudden you get this big notification that says enemy siege minion has spawned.
Yeah, and there's no real reason for you to stand in the middle smoking a cigarette waiting for it to come back up.
Right, because it's bad for your health.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to kill you a lot faster than
But like
Loki.
I'm pushing the left lane as Neath, and there's like one other person in the right lane, and then there's like everybody else on my team is either back at base or in the jungle, and I'm like, what are you...
Oh, yeah.
Do you not understand the purpose of this mode is to push lanes? Like, you can't push a lane if you're not in a lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the towers do less than... I think people are giving towers too much credit right now.
Yeah.
And so it's like you said, they like... I know it's Nivik's strategy, not to point a finger, but it's like, to get those tickets, you do get more jungling.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, you can jungle and get the tickets faster and get a tower out, but I think maybe pushing the lane instead might do you better.
Well, and also...
Well, you get points for killing minions, too. I mean, you get points for pushing the lane and killing gods. You just get the important part is that you want to make sure you're always getting the jungle camps.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can have 2 people pushing and one guy go get the camps. I mean, that's the way junglers are for.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the jungle is totally irrelevant, but you can't spend 99% of your time in the jungle and expect to win a siege match.
Yeah.
Or match.
No, I agree.
I think it's also important to note the mechanics of Siege, and less than like what people are like, how people react to the mechanics. Like, like you said, like I know that like this is how people are playing the game. It's like, well, people are running through the jungle thinking they're being useful or trying to shift from right to left lane, but also like the mechanics of the game are more important than how people react, because like and like Brent said, well, the metas are going to shine through at some point. Like somebody's going to figure out how to friggin' play this game and tell everybody, and everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, and they're all going to play it correctly. But I think what Hi-Rez is doing, and this is just my opinion, they're looking at the mechanics and going, now this is a viable game. There are so many options here. We're giving all these players so many options. They don't even know what the best play is going to be.
Yeah.
But you have so many options open, and my favorite mechanic, which I think is really fascinating, is the fact that the left lane moves up like it moves down. It's a defense lane, right? So
the defense and offense lanes are whichever ones you want them to be.
Yeah. I
mean, there's no one particular.
It's which way your towers are. When your tower is spawned, doesn't it only go up one lane?
It goes up one lane,
right?
But the mechanics on that are, if there's a close tower,
The
like
closer objective.
the closer objective is where it's going to spawn. So
Right.
if
So
you
if
have
the objectives are equal, it'll spawn randomly.
yeah. So if
okay.
you have one tower on the left and two towers on the right, it's going to spawn on the right because the closest objective is on the right.
Oh, so it could
Yeah,
go either
it
way.
can go either
okay.
way.
Right.
So, and maybe,
Okay.
well, like I said, okay, I'm going to hold judgment until we play a few more weeks because I do
Yeah.
think it's kind of hard to judge map day one, like before people are.
Yeah,
really got
yeah.
stats. But that could be a way to fix it. Currently, is always spawn in the one that has the least objectives. More push
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they want it fast. That would be one way to speed it
Yeah.
up, I think.
Yeah.
Now, one kind of other opinion I have, I just wanted to say that the art on this map is it's like a breath of fresh air. You know, like
Yeah, it's nice.
it reminds me of playing, what was it, Sawmill in Team Fortress 2 when that map was released, the
yeah.
mountain level, you know, and the art style is completely different than anything you'd seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk in, it's just like, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
A+ on map design.
A+.
Yeah, love it. The artwork, like there's one jungle camp that has like two dragons or something looking at each other, and we had Silver sitting between it as Alquang getting pictures.
Getting pictures. And the little
Love
chalk
that.
babies running around.
Yeah, the minions.
I like the
oh
minions.
god,
Yeah.
awesome map. All the other mechanics and stuff will work its way out, and I'm sure they'll.
Yeah, they'll
fix.
figure it out. They've played. I mean, this is the first week. It still says beta in the game, so
Well,
Yeah.
and,
It's not like they're
also,
pretending-
Also,
it's
the
perfect.
teleport needs a sound effect. I know it's in beta, but freaking it needs a sound effect.
well, and like like what Dry was saying during his interview is they have such a wide variety of people who are doing the playtest with them. So their estimates of how long matches are going to be is mostly based on what they've done during playtests, which, depending on what group of people they had in that day, could be vastly different than the next day with a totally different group of people.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're going to do if it turns out that it's taking longer to play a siege map in the long run than it is to play a conquest. I'm sure they're going to make some tweaks to speed it up.
Yeah. I agree with that. Sounds good.
all right. Well, cool.
Well, that was
I see
excellent.
what you did there.
Yeah. What a great one. Okay, let's move it on then.
Loki's lurkings.
That was weird.
That was
All right.
weird. It confused me.
So we just have like a quick little thing here. So this segment is going to be like data mined information that people found on the Reddit or other places. And the only thing we have here is that the next god in Smite is supposedly Janus,
Janice.
who is
Janus.
the Roman god of like the beginning and the end or something weird like that.
And the things we think we know about it because they found two different abilities, a portal and a Deathgate mirror. So, and also a video showing them working on a mechanic of portals. So we think this god's going to be able to portal somehow, either portal other people or portal themselves. But
Which would be a really cool mechanic. Like imagine him being like the jungler or something. Just being able to hop around everywhere. Like all of a sudden he's at this camp. Oh, now he's ganking. Like
Nice. I could see maybe a skin from Rocky Horror Picture Show, a little Damus Janus.
wow,
Yeah, that was
Or a,
bad. I'm sorry.
holy crap.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
holy crap!
Yeah. I kind of ruined that one.
all right,
Sorry.
so next segment.
You're in timeout.
What just happened?
Oh,
It was
jeez.
horrible.
Oh,
Just hit the
jeez.
bumper.
Oh, jeez.
Damn it, Janice!
Osiris. This is our Osiris segment.
Broken god of the afterlife.
Yeah. It needs to sound Egyptian because you know what he is?
Oh,
He's Egyptian.
Walk like an Osiris.
That's right.
So Osiris, never has there been nor shall there be a king more perfect than Osiris. He's the son of the earth god Geb. Osiris was divine royalty by birth, and all the land his birthright. Benevolence and prosperity were the hallmarks of his reign. Would that he had been left to shape the world, but jealousy of his brother Set changed the course of fate. Seeking to usurp the throne, Set deceived and murdered his brother. Tearing his body to pieces and casting them across the land, Isis, Osiris's wife, secretly fled while Set plunged the kingdom into darkness.
So Osiris has some abilities, and we'll just go over them nice and quickly.
Isis is the wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Also,
is
there's something
Fenrir
not
like
in
their
here.
dog, their pet?
Is the pieces, I believe that Anubis actually helped to find the pieces and put them back together.
You know, now one of the reasons that he's actually not he didn't get recovered completely is because there's one piece missing that Isis couldn't find. Do you want to know what piece it was?
His penis.
Exactly. That's
It
correct. Yes, really, it literally was.
I had no clue.
Wow.
I just guessed.
You're right.
Good guess,
Really,
Brett.
Isis couldn't
Well,
find.
I think
Osiris's
Afro got it
penis.
too. I think
Yeah.
we did it in harmony.
So he couldn't be
You want to do it
complete.
again?
In some versions of the myth, Set actually ate it.
Whoa.
And that's why they couldn't get it.
Oh wow!
Does it taste like
Yep.
bacon?
I don't know, man.
Or is it
You want to
better
try it out?
Wrong show.
Oh.
So his basic attack is a little weird. He does a 4-hit attack sequence, and the last 2 of them are AoE damage, which is pretty crazy.
That's about his only lane clearing.
But it's also great for jungle camp clearing, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his passive is that every time he uses an ability, he loses a part of his body, and he gains physical protection for parts of his body that he's lost. And after he loses all of his body, he can walk through things, and he doesn't have the movement penalty from doing basic attacks. So you can just walk right through a mere wall, like no props.
Now, is that the first time that Hi-Rez has used that mechanic of walking through anybody? Is
I
there
think so.
any
Yeah.
other god that can do that?
Pretty sure he's the first one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay.
Oh,
So
there's
that's
Casper the Ghost can.
Oh,
walk through
yeah, he
walls.
can do that. That's
He's
right, yeah.
not-
He's
Hey,
a
Brett,
hidden one.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
You can actually select Casper on the title screen by pausing it and going up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select start,
F4.
and then
What's
F4,
There's another
Ultra
tip
Four.
for you.
and then
Yeah.
what?
There's another tip for you. Right?
What's that?
No,
Oh, that was the tip. Yeah,
that's
that came from Drybear, actually. I don't know why you told us that. That was
He
weird.
wouldn't steer us wrong.
Anyway,
Moving
continue.
on.
So his one ability is just a line ability where he tosses his sickle forward and it slows people. His 2 is a area of effect ability that he imbues his flail and it gains him some movement speed. And if the sickle is on the guy, then it hurts them extra. Or sorry, am I reading wrong? It makes the slow stronger. My bad.
Yeah.
His 3 is pretty crazy. It tethers anyone near him in an area effect near his body. And anyone that's tethered to him does less damage to everyone. They just do less damage in general. And at the end of the tether, they are stunned, which is crazy, that free stun. Like, I mean, think about it. There's some alts that stun for less time than the Judgment Tether does. And it's just an area of effect thing. You just hop into a team fight. Like, imagine hopping into a team fight using your Aegis. So you're invincible, and then your entire team gets this free stun for 1.4 seconds. I'm pretty sure Geb's stun is shorter than that. I think Geb's stun is only 1 second.
Yeah, but it seemed like that area was pretty easy to get out of. Like maybe he was chasing someone else or something.
I guess that's true. If they leave the area, yeah, that's true. Then that breaks the tether. But
Yeah.
his final ability is just a big old jump, and he jumps. It deals area of effect damage on where he lands, and he sheds all of his fragments and gains the benefit of his passive. So you can jump on somebody and then beat on them because you don't have the movement speed penalty from your basic attack.
Yeah.
And that is Osiris's his abilities.
I see Osiris in every single arena match I play on our team and on the opposing team. And what they do is they sit around in this mode of Lord of the Afterlife. What is the mode again? When you're lost all your body parts and you're a ghost, you're Casper.
Fragmented.
fragmented.
Yeah. And they walk around and they don't even attack minions or anything because you don't want to lose that form because you only have 6 basic attacks.
Yeah, so just run through people. But you can run through the minions. It doesn't even matter.
Well, but they watch their whole team take the minions down, and they can't help. And it just looks weird to me because I'm like, dude, help me. The minions are about to walk to the freaking portal, and he's standing around. He's like, no, man, I don't want to lose my form, right? So I'm like, God, you suck in Arena. Anyway, so.
You suck. You just got to get that Isis skin, and then you can say it all the time.
Yeah, you suck.
It might sound something like this. Or maybe something like... or something like...
Can I have it back?
That was fascinating what you just played.
You like that?
That was very fascinating.
And that was... Osiris.
Dun.
Tis but a scratch.
Our next segment.
That was beautiful, man. I can't believe how
It goes a
beautiful
little something
that
like
was.
goes a little something like this.
It's hammer time. Thor's top 5.
Ooh, we got a good list for you today.
Yeah, we do. This is the top 5 Smite-based movie names.
Ooh.
At number 5, we have When Minions Attack.
Nice.
Dun,
I'd
dun.
watch that.
Number 4 we got Godbusters.
Who you gonna smite?
Okay, that one's bad. I probably wouldn't watch that one.
No.
But I would watch number 3, which is Honey, I Shrunk the Towers. On second thought, no, I probably wouldn't watch that one.
This number 2 though. This one's pretty good. It is Saturday Smite Fever.
Oh yeah, baby. I'm totally down about that one.
And then number 1, God's Gone Wild. I'd watch that one.
God's Gone
Gone
Wild.
Wild.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, God's Gone Wild. I
You're
totally
expecting-
watched that
Also, like,
one. Totally awesome.
So you're gonna get God's Gone Wild 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
Yeah.
One
yeah.
for each pantheon.
Get that
One
popcorn.
for each female goddess. I mean, male god.
Yeah, you pervert.
What's wrong with you?
What?
Yeah, you
I didn't say
perv.
anything.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thanks, Thor.
That was Thor's top 5.
Wow, that was extra special this week.
What's
I don't know about you, but I thought it was great. I'm sure I'm thirsty though.
I propose a toast. I need a drink.
Okay, so we got one this week that, we decided that we wanted to make a drink that you could make non-alcoholic or alcoholic, depending on your preference.
If you're Bacchus
Awesome.
or if you're Bacchus's son, who's
Brewski.
underage.
Brewski, is that his name? Is that what you said?
What?
Did you say his
Bacchus's
son's name's
son is
Brewski?
Brewski. There you go. It's a great name.
Come here, Brewski. I want to show
like
you
it.
something. Okay, so it's do you give the name first, or do you wait and give it and see if people can think of it?
Just give the name.
Oh, he's ready to go.
He's
like,
ready.
I'm doing the show. Okay, so this is called the Cupid's Heart Bomb.
Cupid's Heart Bomb.
And so basically you're going to get like 16 large, fresh strawberries.
Big ones. The
Berries.
jumbo
Get some strawberries.
You can get them at your local...
Grocery store?
Yeah.
There you go. You
Yeah.
can do that.
And you're going to take them, you're going to cut off the top and maybe the bottom if you need to flatten out so it can stand up like a shot glass. And then you core out the inside of it. So this takes a little work, but it's
It's
worth
called
it.
preparation.
Make your little hole.
So then you're gonna get some strawberry Jello mix, and 1 cup of boiling water, 8 ounces of tequila,
Yeah.
and 6 ounces of Contro.
So what is
Didn't say
Contro?
It's like a sweet liqueur.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a
I was
flavor.
trying to think of that word, and it wasn't coming to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
liqueur.
basically people use it instead of what's it called in margaritas? Margaritas use tequila and
Sour mix?
no, the other alcohol in there.
Water.
Okay, y'all know.
Water.
Anyway, so yeah, this is basically almost like a tequila shot. So anyway, you boil the water. I usually just do it in the microwave for about 3.5 minutes. Then you mix it with the Jello mix, and you stir it for about 2 minutes. Get that nice and emulsified or whatever. Well, it's not gelatinous yet. You want to get basically the sugar and stuff you're melting.
Oh, okay.
So you want it all melted up again. Then you combine the liquors into a shaker or a cup with some ice, and you're going to get it nice and cold. And then you mix in the 4th cup of water to that, some more cold water.
Okay.
And so then that's all chilled. What you mix in with the Jello, and this is basically how you make Jello, right? But you're doing it with liquors this time. So then you fill the Jello mix into the strawberries, put them in the freezer for at least 2 hours or overnight. But then you will have a strawberry Jello
like
shooter.
Tequila inside.
It's got a little kick.
The
Kinda like
strawberry, and it's like sealed with Jello. It's got to be awesome.
Yeah,
and you just eat the strawberry. That's it.
Yeah.
You eat these things. They're Cupid's
the whole thing.
heart bombs. You just eat them. Throw them in your mouth.
The heart
And
bomb.
if you eat enough of them, they really will bomb your hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after they get your liver, but
Wow, that's
they'll
amazing.
move up to your heart.
That's amazing. I love those.
So we're
right.
gonna make these sometimes. Maybe at the convention.
Yeah,
or something.
that was a little bit too much effort to be putting in at the studio tonight.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
So that was great. Okay, all right. Wow, what a show this has been.
It is.
What a
Been a
show.
show.
What a show.
And if you enjoyed it, you need to make sure you come back next week because we have the second half of the interview with Drybear.
Right.
We also have a discussion topic for Agnes Hot Topic next week, so maybe you can send in your thoughts on it. But the topic is going to be, what is BMing? Because I think a lot of people don't really understand the difference between BMing and letting people know they suck. No.
Oops.
See,
Yeah,
we're going to
you know.
talk about it. We're going to straighten that all
right.
out for everybody.
Right.
Controversial.
So, Brent, I got to ask you, what's that URL if people want to submit?
It's a Smite dash.
You had to think about it.
I can't remember which way it goes.
All right, you think about it while I
Is that Smite submit.deadworkers.com?
While he's
Maybe?
doing that, leave us iTunes reviews. That helps the show go to the top. Helps everybody know that there's a Smite podcast out there, and we try to let you guys in on what's going on. It gives us a good outlet on talking about the game because that's all we do is we play Smite, and we want to know everything about it, and we want to let everyone know what we have learned, and if we are wrong, let us know by submitting things to us at smitesubmit.deadworkers.com.
That's
You can
absolutely
also,
right.
and I'm going to get it right this week, call us at 662-736-8260.
Nice. Yes, sir. And there's only one last thing you gotta do. You gotta do this every day.
Do you got to do it?
You do. And that is
You are now at the end of another episode of On Smite, a podcast brought to you by the Dead Workers Party. Listen every week by subscribing on iTunes or by visiting smite.deadworkers.com. Watch the episodes on youtube.com/deadworkersparty or see the live show at deadworkers.com/live.